Thank you, Ava. Thank you so much for your time. It's wonderful to see you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your time.
No, well, I guess thank you for all of our times. Well, let's get the burning question out of the way that I'm sure inquiring minds want to know. Was your relationship with Willie existent before you came up with the idea for this film, or through wanting to do this, you built the relationship?
It was afterwards. Actually, Peter Bogdanovich was introducing me to Willie after he read the script and decided to help me on the script and support the film. So he made the connection to Willie. It was actually at the Hollywood Bowl, a concert
Okay.
Willie gave. And I was there with Peter, and we had like after the concert an appointment with Willie in his tour bus, and that was the first time I met him.
Well, that also brings into question, like, when you started work on this, because obviously, unfortunately, we've lost Peter, and that was back in 2022. So I imagine that started this, way before maybe people may thought you had. How long has this been in production?
Like 10 years. It was
Okay.
really 10 years. It's crazy. I started in Germany and I thought, okay, I'm looking for producers in Germany who would help produce the film. And that seemed to be difficult. And then I finally had a producer, and then the whole financing fall apart. And so, yeah, like the struggle of an independent first time filmmaker.
Mm.
And yeah, there was like a really low point where I thought, okay, now that's it. But Peter always supported me. He said, don't give up, move on. And he really gave me so much, not only intellectual, but also emotional support to hold on. So, yeah, at that point, I decided, okay, I just try to produce it by myself. And that was an exciting road with a huge learning curve. Yeah.
Now, obviously, here's the thing. I love going into movies not knowing anything about them. Like, I see the title and I know kind of what it's about, but like I didn't read up on it. I actually thought I was walking into a documentary before I had started playing it, and then realizing that it is actually a fictionalized story. But there are parts of your feelings and who you are that went into the story. How much of this was trying to be biographical, and how much of it was just wanted to tell a story about having a passion about something?
I mean, it starts really by bio.
It's about me.
um, German, my English. Yeah, the whole motivation was based on that since I was a Willie Nelson fan as a little kid and kind of lost the connection to
Mm,
his music and found it back and his music was a huge inspiration to write the script. So it has biographical biographical elements, um, especially like the childhood. But then I went more into this more abstract
mm.
world. Yeah.
And then, of course, like you said, Peter introduced you to Willie. And so obviously you spoke to him and you had his blessing in a lot of ways, not only is he in the role, two roles technically in the movie, but then you also obviously have the permission to use all of his music. Was this something that you had to talk him into, or he just loved from the get-go and you were able to just hit the ground running once you were talking to him about it?
I mean, it was really such an amazing surprise to get the support from Willie as well. I mean, he and his management, they read the script and they figured that it's really also an homage to him, like what music can do to us and how much power music has to bring us back to our roots when we lose ourselves. It's and yeah, I got really lucky that he supported it. Mhm.
Is there any also type of, because look, I mean, he's Willie Nelson from the get-go in the first place. But he's also been Willie Nelson as an actor. He's been Willie Nelson portraying himself before. Were there certain kind of fears from having to go like, do I give him notes? Do I tell him please don't do this, don't do that? Or just like treating him as an actor?
He was so professional and so open. I mean, it was such a big compliment that he really listened to acting advices, and we had a lot of fun doing that for sure. We were laughing a lot, but he's such a pro as an actor, as a singer. So he made it very easy to me, and he was very respectful from the get go.
And it's one of these things too where like even if it wasn't in there, I wouldn't even think about it. But then seeing it, like how, because again, obviously all of this is special. All of this is like what you wanted to do, who you wanted to be in it. But then you got to write a song with Willie. I mean, what's that? That's like must
Oh
be.
no, that was really like a coincidence basically because yeah, as I told you, the financing was so tough and I had to fight so hard for it. And there was one day, I mean, sometimes I was visiting him on tour and we spoke about the script in his tour bus and I was like, oh God, Willie, I still don't have the financing for the film. And he said, well, Eva, it is what it is. And I said, says love. And he said, oh my God, that's beautiful. And I said, yeah, well, that's not from me. It's actually from a Austrian poem writer called Eric Fried. So we looked up the poem and he worked on the poem, made some changes and made a melody and said, let's do a song out of it. So the first recording of It Is What It Is was actually spontaneous in his tour bus. And then a couple of times while I was visiting him on tour, he called me on stage. That's how it happened. And so
God.
we were
Okay.
singing together. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to let you go soon. So to close things off, then again, because we keep talking about Willie, because again, this is so much dealing with him, but this is about you more than anything else as well. What were you? Is Greta a perfect presentation of you as well, or is like I had to find a way to separate myself a little bit to have her character portrayed?
Um, it's mainly the character, and I think, and I hope a lot of people can identify with when the world seems kind of perfect, everything is kind of there, and still it's so empty and something is missing, and we lock ourselves into some room and have no perspective. So it's about like finding a new perspective in life and taking a risk. So yeah, I hope, yeah, I did it in person as well.
Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a great rest of the day and a great rest of everything.
Thank you so much, Matthew. It was so nice talking with you.
Have a good one.